How's it going, YouTube? It's Nico back with another YouTube video. Today we will be working on some things with the car, and I wanted to tell you guys something pretty important to me. We're driving Final Bout Central Stage, so that's super exciting. I can't even put into words how excited I am, and honestly how nervous I am. It's been like 10 years since I've been going to US Air, and ever since 2015 I went to Final Bout 2. After that I've been going to basically every single Final Bout as a spectator, but this time we will be driving Final Bout. So there are a few things I need to do with the car, some small stuff, nothing too major. Hopefully it'll be good for the event, but I'm looking forward to driving with a bunch of friends, my team, and just experience the overall feeling of what it is to be in Final Bout. So we shall see how it goes. With this being my first Final Bout I get to drive, I plan to try to document as much as I can, try to make it into different episodes. With this one, we'll just go over the car. I plan to do a couple of things, as I mentioned. Overall, just so excited to drive Final Bout, man. Can't believe it's less than 2 weeks away now. My birthday weekend, so it should be really fun. One of the things I got here was just a TPS. I don't know. The last time I experienced drifting at GLD, it felt like the TPS might have been acting up. I just bought that as a spare. Maybe I might put it in. I know this doesn't really, make a big difference, but I thought I might as well. I had problems with my hood popping up. I thought that was kind of dangerous. So actually, before I painted the engine bay a few years ago, I didn't have any of these small grommets here. So they're all fresh all around, just so in case if something happens, the hood pops up and everything. I need to change the fuel filter, which I'll get to soon. I had my friend Dale, he fabbed up or just modified my hot pipe, because before my hot pipe was rising so high up and it was actually hitting the hood. So I'm trying to eliminate a lot of the things that were happening before, just so the car can be more reliable. I need to do a nut and bolt check. I need to change the coolant into all water, because US Air doesn't allow like full coolant, I think just for the track surface reasons. Other than that, oil change, of course. I do plan to change the fuel pump again, just in case, to a Dishworks one. I do have a Walbro 255 on there, but it's just common stuff. I've heard that the Walbros, I don't know, I hear sketchy stuff about them sometimes, so I'm just going to upgrade to a new fuel pump. Might as well, just for ease of mind. But I have these clear corners here. I think new ones are coming in today, but I don't dig the clear ones a lot. I don't know. I run this mismatch setup. I do have the matching SP1s. They're over there somewhere, but I have this mismatch setup. I like running the Model 6s in the front because they're 9J. The rear SP1s are 9.5J, but the front ones are 8J. So I just bought some spacers for those to just bring along, just in case I needed front tires. I am running Advan Fleva on the front, and they still have okay tire on them. These are flipped already. I'm thinking that they should be okay. My other ones have Falcons on them. And then on the rear, I have Ironmans. I don't plan to run anything too crazy or too stressful on the drivetrain. So I've been wanting to try the Accelera 651s, but I don't think this is a good event to really change up the tire or anything. So I also want to give out shout out to Liam for letting me borrow these RGs. Man, they look really good. Hopefully they'll look as good on my car, but thank you, Liam. I don't really have spares. All these wheels are honestly not mine. Like, these are Liam's, my friend Vin's. These are Vin's too. There's only 2 down there that are really mine. I don't have rear tires anymore or rear spares, just because I'm really picky on how the car sits. And if you haven't noticed, these are still stock quarters, so they do look really good in the rear of the SP1s, but they are really high offset still. They're low disc, and these are like plus 40, man. So I run the plus 40 because I've just ran in the past like TE37s, multiple other wheels, but even plus 22s, they're hard to fit under a narrow body S13. The only reason why I do the thing that I do with the high offset is because this quarter panel right here, the car is really clean overall. I've owned it about for 7 years now, but this quarter panel, it's been repaired in Japan, and honestly, there's like Bondo work here, so I try to pull it and everything, but until I can get the car fully body worked and stuff, that thing is not moving. It's hard as a rock, to be honest. So that's why I kind of compensated for the high offset, because as I said before, I ran like TE37s in the past, plus 12, plus 22. Even with the plus 22, I was still at negative 4.5 degrees of camber, and I could really feel that in the ride quality. It was just way too rough and way too harsh. And even more so with the plus 12s, I was running negative 6 degrees of camber in the rear, and it was fine for the meantime, but it just didn't feel too good absorbing the bumps, and I was cracking wheels because it was such at an angle. So I ditched all that stuff just to make the car a lot more drivable in a sense. Same in the front, running GK Tech knuckles now instead of the GK Tech RCC kit. The RCC kit, it was good, but I was hearing a lot of horror stories of like the bolts shearing off the kit, so I actually went to a traditional like drop knuckle setup from GK Tech. Other than that, the car's pretty bone stock, no coolers, which I'm kind of worried about just because it's going to be pretty hot. But I'll keep an eye on the temps and everything and try not to really overkill. Gonna do spark plugs, exhaust gaskets, and it should be fine for the meantime. I'm gonna try to pull the oil catch can sometime this week too to see if there's any like blow by, but honestly I've had pretty good luck with this motor the past couple of years now, and it's been doing me pretty fine. So one of the main things I really want to do today is I really want to paint these mirrors right here. I want to have Andrew paint the mirrors and the rear visor or the roof wing all red just to match the car. I think it'll make it look really sleek looking. And if you never noticed before, this is like a Zenki 180SX. So what that means is it was like pig nose, CA18. I guess that's just it, but it's a Zenki in a sense. So I basically Koki converted the whole car with the black top and the front end, and you know, it's not really OEM and rear side skirts, but it has Type X taillights, Type X wing. The one thing that the Koki 180s have are these paint matched A-pillars. They also have paint matched mirrors as well from factory. So as you can see, this side is red, but this side is black. If you never noticed, a lot of people do notice it, and they all comment on, you know, why don't you take that off? Take that off. Please, bro, take that off. But this, I'm not looking forward to, because when I originally did this, it took so long. Like, it took me days. And what I mean by that is, it's red here. They're actually all red from factory, even the Zenki ones. But before they did the Koki ones, they put a sticker from like here all the way to here. So I'll go to that side. It's kind of like the sticker that you find like running around the whole like body. If you see some of them, that's a sticker too, and it's like kind of made of the same material. But you can see it's really baked on there. Like, a lot of people don't even realize that sometimes this is a sticker and you can just like peel it off. You can peel it off, it just takes you like a fat minute to peel it off. So I'm gonna take off all this trim, surrounding trim. I'm also going to take off the mirrors. This mirror is broke, kind of holding it with my buddy's sticker here, but also it's upside down because the lens fell off on the highway, and it was so funny. I was looking out the mirror and it just like, anyways, it works, whatever. Stock mirrors. So that's my plan for the next week or two, but the car really kind of has to be ready by the middle of next week. So I'm gonna run the stock wing. I do have like a GT style wing, but I'm not gonna put that on. I think I like the clean look, and we'll go from there. I'm gonna start taking off some trim. I'm gonna take off this guy, take off the mirrors, and yeah, they're all faded and stuff, but I think a nice coat of red will make the car look really sharp again, and I think it'll look like a Ferrari or something. All right, so for mirror removal, you're gonna remove the door card. It's gonna be one screw here, a bunch of pop tabs at the bottom. Stick a little flathead in here, just so you can get that screw off. Yep, Phillips. And just gonna take off the door panel. So I didn't take off the door panel all the way, take off this piece. One thing I did notice was, I didn't do this, but all the clips were already broken. It kind of sucks that they all broke off without me even noticing. I don't know what happened. So this one just came off, but this car is kind of deteriorating with age. Like, the seals are all like, they're hard, and they're cracking. So if you're interested in getting a S13, just beware that, man, there's gonna be a lot of things that you replace. I've owned this car for so long already, and it just sucks that the cars they still continue to age, you know. But what can you do? It's your project car. Just gonna be these 3 screws, and then it's a little harness behind the door panel. So I'm probably still gonna take off the door panel and unhook it, take out the mirror, go on that side. Shouldn't be a big deal. Hope that side's not broken though, we'll see. So I started removing this black trim, and as you can see, there's a bunch of adhesive. There's spots where it gets better, but I'm gonna have to use like adhesive remover. Now this stuff, that's what I was talking about. When it dries, see how crunchy it is, and it doesn't really want to work with you. But if you just use a little bit of heat, I used a lot of heat in certain places, but it kind of likes it like the in-between of, so you can, it wasn't like this like a minute ago, it was really soft. But if you just heat it up only a little bit, you can see here like it's really shiny. So that's what's underneath the vinyl, actually just paint matched. Really see that it looks a lot cleaner already. But I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna be careful of these, like the grooves on the inside, so it comes out nicely. Just take your time, you know. And oh, shouldn't be too bad, but we'll see. So next, I had my hot pipe modified for Final Bout. I just want to widen this hole, try to clean it up a little bit, but I was scratching the paint. But ultimately, I just want to widen it so the hot pipe has enough room for like movement and stuff, just in case. Because we welded the inlet pipe just straight to the hot pipe, the inlet. So just want to make sure that it has just a little bit of wiggle room. I only cut out a little bit, as nice as I could with a Dremel. I'm trying to find the tool I used. All right, with this guy, and just a little bit, won't hurt it. I did the front end bolt check too, and everything looks pretty good. I just got to do some other maintenance to the car. I just got these in the mail though. These are C130 Laurel corner lamps. Look at this really cool box they came in. Pretty sure this is old new stock, original tape, I guess. It's so yellow. These are probably from the 70s or the 80s. I don't even know. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I got this inspiration from Sexy Nights Daigo. So it needs a little trimming required, obviously, because they're not meant for this car. Like, it has to be trimmed like a little bit in the front and a little bit on the top. Other than that, they're just corner markers, but I think they add that flair to it. They're chrome. Try not to have chrome, but I thought it would offset the, you know, the rear wheels. So next, I'm gonna do the rear bolt check. I gotta change the diff fluid, and I'm going with a couple liters of the Motul 90 PA. I think you only will use like 1.5 or 2. I don't know, we'll see. And then the rear end bolt check, I'm gonna change the oil, spark plugs, usual maintenance stuff. And then I sent the mirrors and the rear roof wing to Andrew to get painted. They're just gonna get paint matched red. So that's off. Just make sure everything's all into check, all into spec. US Air also requires just water, so I just got some water wetter, and we should be pretty good for Final Bout. Pretty excited, pretty stoked. Working in this super crammed, I guess, garage space, but we'll make do. All good. Okay, onto the diff fluid. I already drained the fluid. Again, I do have a Cusco two-way, so that's why I am using the 90 PA for all the additives and stuff. But when you're draining the diff fluid, you want to make sure that you crack open the fill. And as you can see, it's like right on the side, and it should be that guy right there. That's the fill plug. The drain on S13s are right here at the bottom. So you always want to make sure that you crack open the fill, because if you just drain it and you can't get the fill plug out, then you're just going to have no fluid, which is, I think, worse than having dirty fluid. So I also bought this Harbor Freight tool. It was only like 12 bucks, and honestly it worked really good. This pump, I probably pumped it not even like 8 times, and it filled this whole, or it took this whole quart. Obviously, you know, it's going to be like, you have to lean it to the side a little bit to like reach the corners of the bottle, but it worked really good. You want to fill it until fluid starts coming out of the fill hole. Once it starts coming out, then it should be all set. The speculation I always hear about 2As is, oh, it's so clunky. Oh, I don't like how it feels in a parking lot. But how I see it is, I've had these axles in the car for who knows how long, and that's not axle grease, that's one of my rear calipers blew. How I like to see it is, you get a 2-way for the investment of trying to keep your parts like savable. I've had these axles on the car for more than 7 years now, and the two-way was one of the first mods I did. And I always see people blowing out axles, you know, and in my experience, I've had cars or S13s, especially with welded diffs, and they do the job. It's a great learner's tool at first, but with excelling and drifting and driving, I think the two-way honestly offers you a better package. You can excel better with your driving, and it saves your car. Like if you're in the parking lot, it's so clunky and loud, of course you have to break it in properly, and it's more maintenance than a welded diff. At the end of the day, it's relieving that stress on the inside wheel, especially if you're in a parking lot. Let's say if you're turning left, the inside wheel is experiencing more of that strain, and that's why there's more strain on the axles when you do have a welded diff. Yes, a welded diff is a lot more cheaper and easier, but at the end of the day, you should always invest a two-way guy, and I promise it'll be a lot better for you in the future. So you do need to do more maintenance on them as to, you know, changing the fluid more often. I would say if you drive more events at least 3 to 5 times, you should change the fluid. And no, the fluid isn't cheap, but that's with every fluid, of course. Yeah, invest in a two-way, man. It'll change your life. I also got a new package here from GK Tech. Nothing too crazy or anything, but new reservoir. This is an original reservoir. Look at it. You usually see them all broken. Surprisingly, this one hasn't broke, but honestly, I feel like it's getting there. This thing is gonna crack one day. Don't want that happening. Probably just gonna toss that, to be honest, because GK Tech makes a pretty good replacement. Sorry if I'm all over the place. Coolant reservoir in. Just did the oil change. Also going to do spark plugs and the coolant flush next. But I also decided to tackle these Laurel siren markers. And I'm laughing because, you know, these are pretty clean 180 fenders. Had to do a little bit of modification. You know, I'm trying not to burn the paint off because these are pretty freshly burnt, but usually in the front of the 180 fenders here, they're kind of closed tighter, and I'm just grabbing a rotary tool to grind this portion out in the front so they fit a lot more like flush. So that's what it ends up as. And as for the orientation of these, usually they're like right side up like this, facing downwards. So I'll give you a example here. So it goes in pretty smooth now. That's with it down. I grabbed the left one, and I think I like the point facing up, so like the left side on the right side. I think it gives it a more sharper look. It's hard to pull it off because it is chrome and it kind of like stands out a lot. We'll go with that. It's pretty, I think it looks pretty cool. What do you guys think?
There we go. He's sitting. Update, y'all.
How we looking?
We're low-key kind of stuck. But we're on it.
Does it look cool?
It looks pretty cool, not gonna lie.
I think my mom's here too.
Hi, mommy. Mommy in the vlog. Got Andrew the Woodman. Right now we are still stuck.
It's like right against the...
It's only on this side? Or both sides?
This is
Get your agreement. The only thing though. Should we chalk the front?
You should just turn the car off.
Put in gear.
So what are we doing, Andrew?
We're gonna jack up his trailer ramps so that he can go straight forward without hitting anything, hopefully.
Smart man.
Ugh.
You turn your truck off too.
How we did this.
It's well documented.
Oof, this is scary. You're good.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going, yeah.
There we fucking go. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. We are ready for Final Bout.
5年前にお客さん誰もいないとこでライブしてたの忘れてないし、運送屋で毎日乗ってたハイエース、仕事も楽しいけど大変、やりたいことやりてえから今も iPhone に歌詞書いてる、入れ墨だらけのラッパー、小さい夢も叶った、ファーストクラスのソウル